Let's strip away all the noise for a second. The games, the strategies, the lists of what to say and what not to say. Because at the end of the day, love isn't complicated. It's not a puzzle you have to solve or a code you have to crack. People don't fall in love with you because of what you do. They fall in love with how they feel when they're around you. And when we really boil it down, there are only two core reasons someone truly falls in love with you. Two emotional triggers that open the door to something real. If you can understand these, not just intellectually, but emotionally, you stop chasing love and start inviting it. You stop trying to impress people and start affecting them. And when that shift happens, everything changes. So let's talk about those two reasons, because once you see them clearly, love stops being accidental and starts being intentional. People don't fall in love because you're perfect. They fall in love because of how they feel when they're around you. And the first reason people truly fall in love is emotional safety. It sounds simple, but it's everything. Emotional safety means someone can be themselves around you without fear. It means they don't have to perform. They don't have to protect themselves. They don't have to hide their flaws or pretend to be stronger than they are. They can just be human, messy, complicated, unsure, and still feel accepted. When someone starts falling for you, they aren't analyzing your resume. They're scanning the emotional experience you give them. Do I feel safe with this person? Do I feel judged or do I feel seen? Do I feel like I have to keep my guard up or do I exhale when I'm around them? These questions are happening beneath the surface, and they're the real foundation of love. Think about the people you've been drawn to in your life, the ones who made you feel calm in the middle of chaos, the ones who didn't need you to impress them or fix yourself before you were worthy of their time. That kind of presence is rare. And when someone offers it, we latch on because we crave it more than we even realize. People want to feel like they're safe to speak without being criticized. They want to feel like their emotions won't be dismissed. They want to feel like they can open up without it being used against them later. That's what emotional safety really is. Not agreeing with everything someone says, but making space for their truth. Not always fixing their problems, but listening like their feelings matter. It's about giving someone the message, I see you, I'm not going anywhere, you don't have to be perfect for me to care. The truth is, most people are walking around guarded. They've been hurt. They've been misunderstood. They've learned to hide their deeper selves because someone in the past made them feel like their vulnerability was too much. So when they meet someone who allows that vulnerability to exist without punishment, it feels like a breath of fresh air. It feels like home. And that's when real love starts. Not when you look your best, not when you impress them with your confidence or your charm, but when they feel like they can put their armor down around you, when they realize they don't have to fight to be heard or beg to be understood, when they feel emotionally held, even in their lowest moments. This doesn't mean you become someone's emotional punching bag. Emotional safety doesn't mean enabling toxic behavior or accepting disrespect. It means holding space while still honoring your own boundary. It means listening without rushing to defend yourself. It means learning how to say, tell me what's really going on, instead of shutting down or deflecting when conversations get deep. It means being curious instead of reactive. It also means learning how to be emotionally safe for yourself. Because when you know how to sit with your own difficult emotions, instead of running from them or projecting them onto others, you become a safer space for someone else. You're not needing them to regulate your emotions or fix your insecurities. You're bringing wholeness, not neediness. And that's powerful. Sometimes we think love comes from impressing someone, from being more attractive, more successful, more interesting. But the truth is, people fall in love when they feel emotionally secure with you. That's what makes someone want to come closer. That's what makes someone feel, I can trust this, I can build something here. If someone doesn't feel emotionally safe around you, it doesn't matter how compatible you are on paper, they'll always feel like they have to hold back. And love cannot grow where people are guarded. It grows in openness. It grows in softness. It grows in mutual care. So if you want someone to fall in love with you, really fall. Stop trying to be impressive and start trying to be safe. Show up fully. Listen deeply. Respond gently. Create a space where someone doesn't have to perform. That's not just attractive, that's irresistible. Because at the end of the day, love is not just about who you are, it's about how someone feels when they're with you, and when they feel emotionally safe, they won't want to be anywhere else. The second reason people fall in love with you is the way you value yourself. The way you carry yourself, speak about yourself, treat yourself, it sets the tone for how others will treat you. You become magnetic when you stop trying to prove your worth and start embodying it. Love isn't about convincing someone to choose you. It's about showing up in a way that says, I already choose me. That energy is powerful, it's rare, and people feel it the moment they meet you. When you have self-respect, you don't chase people. You don't beg for attention or hold on to people who are inconsistent. You move with clarity. You know what you bring to the table and you don't settle for crumbs. And ironically, that's what makes people want to give you more. Because when someone sees that you're not desperate for love, it tells them that your love is valuable. It tells them that being chosen by you means something. And that creates intrigue, it creates admiration, and ultimately it creates attraction. People fall in love with confidence, not arrogance, but real confidence, the kind that's grounded in truth, the kind that doesn't need validation to exist. When you walk into a room like you belong there without demanding attention, you create a quiet power that draws people in. You're not auditioning. You're not trying to be the most charming, the most interesting, the most likable. You're simply being. And you're allowing the right people to notice. But here's the truth most people overlook. Self-value is not just about what you project outward. It's about what you tolerate inward. It shows up in the conversations you entertain, the boundaries you hold, and the behavior you accept. If someone disrespects your time, do you let it slide because you don't want to upset them? If someone ghosts you and then comes back, do you welcome them like nothing happened just because you missed the connection? These moments reveal your relationship with yourself. And the way you treat yourself in those small moments tells people how to love you or how not to. When you raise your standards, the wrong people disappear. That's not rejection, that's refinement. It's the universe responding to your self-respect by filtering out those who were only half invested. And what's left behind is space. Space for someone who's all in. Someone who sees your value, not because you're shouting it, but because you live it. Self-value also shows up in how you speak about yourself. Do you talk yourself down in front of others? Do you make jokes at your own expense to seem humble or easygoing? It might seem harmless, but it sends a message. If you don't honor your own strengths, how can someone else? If you don't show pride in who you are, how can anyone else admire it? You become attractive when you honor your own time, when you walk away from situations that no longer serve you, when you stop over-explaining your worth and simply live in it. You become attractive when you can say, this is who I am. I love deeply, I give fully, and I know what I deserve. That energy doesn't demand love, it attracts it. People are drawn to certainty. When you know who you are and what you're worth, you make others feel more secure around you. They know they can't just play with your emotions because you're not going to tolerate confusion. That clarity, that strength, it makes people pay attention. It makes them respect you, and in time, it makes them fall for you. But self-respect isn't loud. It doesn't need to be. It shows up in silence. In the quiet moments where you choose not to respond to chaos, where you choose peace over attention, where you choose dignity over reaction. That's the moment people realize you're different. You're not here to be picked. You're here to pick the right partner. So if you want someone to love you, don't start by trying to be more for them. Start by being more for yourself. Build a life you're proud of. Speak kindly to yourself. Don't chase anyone. And remember that love isn't earned through sacrifice. It's attracted through alignment. Because when you value yourself, you teach others how to love you. You raise the bar. And the ones who are ready to meet it, they don't run. They rise. Love isn't built in a single moment. It's built in the consistent emotional experience someone has with you over time. That's the third reason people fall in love with you. The way you make them feel again and again. Not just when things are exciting or new, but in the quiet moments, the everyday interactions. The way your energy shows up repeatedly. People fall in love through a steady emotional impact. The way they feel after talking to you, the way they feel when they think about you. It's not about intensity, it's about consistency. Anyone can make a strong impression once. Anyone can have a great date, say the right thing, or show up fully for a little while. But what makes someone attached to you emotionally is the pattern. If every time they speak to you, they walk away feeling more connected, more seen, more grounded, they start craving that feeling. Not because you're love bombing them or overwhelming them with attention, but because your presence becomes a source of emotional stability. Consistency builds trust, and trust is the foundation of love. If someone never knows what version of you they're going to get, warm one day, cold the next, they may feel attracted, but they won't feel safe. That uncertainty creates anxiety, not connection. It creates attraction based on confusion, not compatibility. And eventually that kind of attraction burns out. But when someone feels that they can count on you, not to be perfect, but to be real, to be kind, to be emotionally present, they open up, they let their guard down. And that's where love lives. This is why small things matter more than we think. The good morning text that says, I'm thinking of you. The way you listen when someone's had a hard day. The way you remember the little details they told you in passing. It's not grand gestures that build emotional attachment. It's the way you show up consistently, with care, with intention. When someone knows, they don't have to guess how you feel. They start trusting how they feel. And consistency isn't just about how often you're there. It's about how you show up when you are. Are you fully present when you're with them, or are you distracted? Do you follow through on your words, or do you say things you don't mean? Do you speak in a way that builds someone up, or do you leave them questioning themselves? These subtle moments build an emotional footprint. They create either safety or uncertainty, and people remember how you made them feel long after they've forgotten what you said. When someone feels good every time they're around you, they start associating you with emotional relief. You become a place where they can breathe, where they feel encouraged, where they feel more themselves. And eventually, they don't just enjoy your company, they need it. Not out of dependency, but out of alignment. Your presence becomes a kind of emotional home. And that's what real love feels like. The sense that this person adds peace to my life. That being with them doesn't drain me, it restores me. But consistency starts with self-awareness. If you're emotionally unpredictable because you don't know what you want, it will come through in your energy. If you're inconsistent because you're scared of being too available, you'll keep people at a distance without realizing it. If you play hot and cold as a strategy to create attraction, it might work short term, but long term it creates insecurity. Real connection doesn't come from confusion. It comes from clarity. You don't have to be the most exciting person in the room to make someone fall for you. You just have to be the person they can rely on emotionally. The one who isn't up one day and down the next. The one who creates safety, not by promising the world, but by simply being present and real again and again. Emotional consistency is rare, and that's why it's so valuable. So if you want to be unforgettable, don't focus on trying to be more impressive, focus on being more consistent. Let your energy speak louder than your words. Let your actions match your intentions. Let someone walk away from you feeling better every single time. That's the kind of experience people get addicted to. That's what builds real, lasting love. Because in the end, it's not just about how much someone likes you. It's about how they feel when they're with you, and whether that feeling is something they can count on. When it is, love doesn't just grow, it stays. People don't fall in love with your filtered version. They fall in love with your truth. The fourth reason people fall in love with you is because of authentic emotional expression. Not the polished, always happy, socially acceptable version of yourself, but the real version. The one that has fears, flaws, desires, and depth. The one that lets someone in instead of just putting on a show. Emotional intimacy isn't created through perfection. It's created through honesty. Through vulnerability, through the courage to show who you are, even when it's uncomfortable. There's something magnetic about someone who is unapologetically themselves, not in a careless, take it or leave it kind of way, but in a grounded, self-aware way. When you express how you feel instead of suppressing it. When you speak your truth, even if it's messy or unpolished. When you say what's really going on beneath the surface, it creates space for another person to do the same. That's when connection deepens. That's when real intimacy begins. People crave authenticity more than anything. In a world filled with curated images and performative conversations, it's rare to meet someone who is just real, who isn't trying to impress, who isn't trying to manipulate perception, who can say, "This is me, and I trust that the right person won't run from it." That kind of emotional exposure is risky, yes, but it's also irresistible. Because it makes someone feel safe to be real with you. Most of us are starving for that kind of honesty. We're tired of wondering what someone is really feeling, tired of decoding mixed signals, tired of guessing if someone actually cares or is just going through the motions. So when someone comes along and says what they feel clearly, kindly, vulnerably, it cuts through the noise. It hits different. It builds trust fast because it removes the question marks and replaces them with clarity. And it's not just about big emotional declarations, it's the small truths too. Saying, "That hurt me," instead of pretending you're fine. Saying, "I really like being around you," without playing it cool. Saying, "I'm scared of how much I feel, but I want to be honest about it." These moments of honesty pull someone closer because they show depth. They show bravery. They show you're not playing a game, you're showing up. Love needs that kind of honesty to breathe. Without it, we only connect through surface layers. We stay in the zone of small talk, politeness, vague emotional hints. And nothing real can grow there. Real connection happens when you drop the script. When you say what you're really feeling instead of what you think you're supposed to say. You let someone see your fear, your hope, your desire, and you trust that they can hold it with care. But authenticity also means knowing yourself. You can't express who you are if you don't spend time getting to know what you feel, what you need, what you believe. It takes inner work to show up authentically. It takes emotional clarity, and it takes courage to speak it, especially when it might not be met with immediate understanding or approval. But that's the price of real love. You can't access deep connection without risk. You have to be willing to go first, to open the door emotionally and say, "Here's where I am at. Are you willing to meet me here?" And when someone is ready, they will. Your honesty won't scare them. Your emotions won't be too much. Your transparency won't push them away. In fact, it will be the very reason they lean in. Because people don't fall in love with a mask. They fall in love with the version of you that's willing to be seen. The version that's honest about what they feel. The version that's not hiding or pretending or playing it safe. You don't need to be perfect to be loved. You need to be true. And when you're true to yourself, you give others permission to be true with you. That's how emotional intimacy is born. In the brave space between two people willing to be real. And that's what makes love not only possible, but powerful. Because in the end, people don't fall in love with the image you present, they fall in love with the soul behind it, the heart you're willing to reveal, and the emotional space you create by being exactly who you are.